Fast, silent, unstoppable. The United States has just pulled back the curtain on its most advanced nuclear submarine ever, and the world is on high alert. With cutting-edge stealth, unmatched firepower, and a nuclear reactor that never needs refueling, this next-gen beast is set to dominate the oceans for the next 40 years. China's scrambling, Russia's watching, and America just sent a clear message. The undersea battlefield now belongs to the Columbia-class. What makes this submarine so deadly? And why is it changing the entire balance of global power? Buckle up. We're diving deep into the future of warfare. The Silent Sea Revolution. Imagine a vessel so stealthy it glides beneath the ocean's surface, virtually undetectable, yet armed with enough firepower to deter any adversary. Enter the Columbia-class submarine, a marvel of modern engineering designed to redefine naval warfare. Stretching 560 feet in length and 43 feet in diameter, this submarine is not just a replacement for the aging Ohio class, it's a leap into the future of undersea dominance. At the heart of the Columbia class is its advanced nuclear reactor, designed to last the submarine's entire 42-year service life without refueling. This innovation not only reduces maintenance downtime, but also ensures a constant state of readiness. As Rear Admiral David Goggins aptly put it, the Columbia class will be the most advanced, most capable, and most survivable submarine ever built. Equipped with 16 missile tubes, each capable of launching a Trident II D5 ballistic missile, the Columbia class maintains a formidable deterrent posture. Despite having fewer tubes than its predecessor, advancements in missile technology ensure that its strike capability remains uncompromised. The integration of an electric drive propulsion system further enhances its stealth, making it the quietest submarine in the U.S. fleet. This submarine isn't just a vessel, it's a strategic asset, ensuring the United States maintains its undersea superiority well into the 21st century. Its deployment marks a significant shift in naval capabilities, signaling to allies and adversaries alike that the U.S. remains at the forefront of maritime defense. As we marvel at the Columbia-class's cutting-edge features, it's essential to understand the legacy it builds upon. Let's explore why the venerable Ohio-class submarines, once the pinnacle of naval engineering, are now making way for this new generation. The old guard is retiring. For decades, the Ohio-class submarines have been the silent sentinels of the deep, forming a critical leg of the United States nuclear triad. Commissioned in the early 1980s, these submarines were designed during the Cold War to provide a secure and survivable nuclear deterrent. However, time has taken its toll. Maintaining these aging vessels has become increasingly challenging and costly. The nuclear reactors powering the Ohio class require mid-life refueling, a complex and expensive process that takes submarines out of service for extended periods. As Vice Admiral Johnny Wolf noted, the Ohio class has served us well, but it's time to transition to a platform that meets today's strategic needs. Technological advancements have also rendered some of the Ohio class's systems obsolete. Modern threats require faster, quieter, and more adaptable submarines. The Columbia class addresses these needs with its electric drive, propulsion, and advanced sonar systems, ensuring it can operate undetected in contested environments. Furthermore, the strategic landscape has evolved. The need for a more flexible and resilient deterrent force has become paramount. The Columbia class's design reflects this shift, offering enhanced capabilities to meet current and future challenges. Understanding the necessity for this transition, let's delve into the monumental effort behind bringing the Columbia class to life, a project that represents one of the most ambitious undertakings in naval history. Building a ghost. Constructing the Columbia-class submarine is a feat of engineering and logistics, involving thousands of workers, cutting-edge technology, and a staggering budget estimated at $130 billion for 12 submarines. This investment underscores the importance placed on maintaining a credible and modern sea-based nuclear deterrent. The lead submarine, the USS District of Columbia, SSBN 826, began construction in 2021 with delivery expected by 28, and operational deployment by 2031. This timeline reflects the complexity of building such advanced vessels, which require precision and coordination across multiple shipyards and suppliers. General Dynamics Electric Boat and Huntington Ingalls Industries Newport News Shipbuilding are collaborating on this project, leveraging their combined expertise to meet the Navy's stringent requirements. The Columbia-class incorporates lessons learned from previous submarine programs, integrating proven technologies to mitigate risks and control costs. Despite these efforts, challenges persist. Supply chain disruptions, workforce shortages, and technological hurdles have the potential to impact schedules and budgets. As highlighted in a Government Accountability Office report, timely delivery of these submarines is critical for the nation's nuclear deterrence. With the construction of the Columbia-class underway, it's crucial to understand its role within the broader context of national defense. Let's explore how this new class of submarines fits into the United States strategic nuclear framework. Nuclear triad. When it comes to nuclear weapons, the United States doesn't just rely on one launch method. It uses a system called the nuclear triad, made up of land-based missiles, bomber aircraft, and submarines. Each leg has its strengths, but ask any defense expert and they'll tell you, the submarine leg is the most survivable. Why? Because submarines are mobile, stealthy, and practically impossible to track. While land-based missiles are stuck in silos and bombers need to fly in from bases, submarines can hide deep underwater for months at a time. Admiral Charles Richard once said, "Our ballistic missile submarines are the most survivable leg of the triad, and the most important." These underwater giants carry Trident II D5 nuclear missiles, capable of hitting targets thousands of miles away. But it's not just their range that makes them dangerous. It's the element of surprise. An enemy never knows where they are, and that's exactly what makes them so effective as a deterrent. They act like a nuclear insurance policy, always ready, but never needing to fire first. And here's the real kicker. If a nuclear war ever broke out, land and air bases could be targeted early. But the subs, they're already out there, hiding, waiting, and able to strike back. That's why the U.S. is investing so heavily in keeping this leg of the triad strong. And the Columbia-class is designed to take that role even further into the future. So now we know why submarines are considered the ace up America's nuclear sleeve. But not every submarine is created equal. And the Columbia-class isn't just another addition. It's a completely reimagined war machine built to outlast, outsmart, and outperform anything that's come before it. Let's break down exactly why this class is being called a game changer. The Columbia-class advantage. The Columbia-class isn't just an upgrade. It's an entirely new blueprint for undersea warfare. What makes it special isn't just the firepower, but how quiet, smart, and self-sustaining it is. Everything about this submarine screams long-term dominance, from its all-electric drive system to its lifetime nuclear reactor. That's right, no refueling. The reactor inside each Columbia-class submarine is designed to last a full 42-year service life without being cracked open. That means less downtime, lower costs, and more time spent patrolling the ocean. In comparison, the older Ohio-class submarines needed to go through expensive midlife refueling, a process that could take years. Though the Columbia-class carries 16 missile tubes, 8 fewer than the Ohio-class, each one is optimized for speed and precision. Every missile is launched from a next-gen vertical launch system, and future subs in the class will carry the newer Trident D5 LE-2 missiles. So while there are fewer tubes, each one packs a much more efficient and deadly punch. Finally, let's talk stealth. Thanks to a new electric propulsion system, Columbia subs are nearly silent in the water. Combine that with X-shaped control fins and an advanced hull coating that absorbs sonar, and you've got a sub that's harder to detect than ever. As one Navy official put it, Columbia will be the quietest submarine we've ever built, and that's saying something. From the quiet hum of its engines to the massive punch of its Trident missiles, the Columbia-class clearly brings a new level of stealth and firepower to the table. But what exactly makes it tick? Let's peel back the hull and explore the incredible systems and innovations packed inside this underwater beast. Engineering the future. You know what separates the Columbia class from everything before it? The tech under the surface. It's loaded with futuristic systems that are built to work quietly, reliably, and with deadly precision. Let's start with the heart of the ship, the electric drive system. It's a total shift from older mechanical drives, and it changes the game completely. Older subs use noisy gearboxes and mechanical shafts to turn. They're propellers. Columbia does it differently. The nuclear reactor heats water into steam, which turns turbines that generate electricity. That electricity then powers an ultra-quiet electric motor, which spins the pump jet propulsor. This setup is not only much quieter, but it also simplifies maintenance and improves efficiency. That's just the start. The sub is also equipped with X-shaped control fins, which give it smoother movement and tighter turns underwater. These fins reduce noise and make the sub more maneuverable, especially when evading detection or navigating tight spaces. Meanwhile, the dive planes, which control depth, are mounted on the sail, not the hull. This gives the crew better control, especially during slow or surface-level maneuvers. Another highlight? The large aperture bow sonar system. Think of it as the sub's ears, and they're super sharp. This sonar can detect threats or other vessels from long distances, giving the Columbia class a serious edge in staying one step ahead. As one defense expert put it, it's like putting a submarine-sized radar dish right in front, only underwater. From a whisper-quiet motor to next-gen sonar and smart steering fins, the Columbia class is built like a submarine from the future. But while it's packed with power and innovation, it wasn't easy or cheap to build. So how did the US manage to get this monster off the drawing board and into production? Let's dive into the journey behind its creation. Trident teeth. At the heart of the Columbia-class submarine's firepower is a missile system that's earned a fearsome reputation, the Trident II D5. These long-range ballistic missiles aren't just powerful, they're pinpoint accurate and carry multiple warheads. Each Columbia-class sub will have 16 of these missile tubes, and that's more than enough to make any potential enemy think twice. Each Trident D5 missile can travel over 7,500 miles and strike with near-perfect precision. It carries multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles, MIRVs. In simple terms, that means one missile can hit multiple targets. Imagine one launch, and several cities or key sites could be struck at once. That kind of capability makes submarines like the Columbia a deterrent powerhouse. But it gets even better. Future Columbia-class subs, starting with the 9th one in production, will be equipped with the Trident D5 Life Extension 2 missile, a modernized version with enhanced guidance, updated electronics, and longer lifespan. So even as global threats evolve, the Columbia will remain ahead of the curve. A senior Navy official put it clearly, "We don't need more missiles, we need smarter ones." And that's exactly what Trident gives us. These missiles sit inside 87-inch diameter tubes, the same size as those used on Ohio-class subs. That means a smooth transition in terms of design, training, and logistics. But while the packaging may look familiar, what's inside is far more advanced. With each missile ready to launch from anywhere in the ocean, Columbia-class submarines become floating nuclear fortresses. Silent, ready, and terrifyingly capable. With a missile system like Trident riding aboard, the Columbia-class doesn't need to shout. Its silence alone sends a message. But a beast this dangerous needs a smart brain to match its brawn. So how does it process battlefield CASA, detect threats, and launch weapons with split-second decisions? Let's take a peek inside its combat systems. The brain behind the beast. Columbia-class subs aren't just big and powerful, they're incredibly smart. Everything on board runs through an advanced system known as SWFTS, the Submarine Warfare Federated Tactical System. This is like the submarine's nervous system, connecting sonar, imaging, navigation, and weapons control into one super smart digital brain. Let's break it down. The sonar system allows the sub to hear everything happening around it, even from miles away. Then there's optical imaging, which gives the crew visual cues in places radar can't reach. Both of these feed into SWFTS, which helps the sub detect and identify threats faster than ever before. One Navy engineer described it perfectly. It's like giving a submarine 360-degree night vision. What makes SWAPU-FTS so special is how everything is connected. In older submarines, systems were often separated. Sonar in one place, weapons in another. On Columbia-class subs, it's all integrated. That means the crew can respond to threats in seconds, not minutes. Whether it's a hostile ship or an incoming torpedo, the sub can make faster and smarter decisions. And that's a huge edge in undersea warfare. On top of that, the Columbia-class uses data fusion technology, a way of combining multiple streams of information into one easy-to-understand picture. This gives commanders a clearer view of what's happening in real time, even in complex or chaotic environments. Add that to the sub's stealth and firepower, and you've got a vessel that's not only hard to find, but nearly impossible to outthink. So far, the Columbia-class looks unstoppable, a quiet hunter with sharp eyes and a brain that works at lightning speed. But building something this advanced isn't easy. From massive cash to serious manpower shortages, the journey to create this submarine has been anything but smooth. Let's pull back the curtain on the challenges behind the build. Speed bumps on the road to dominance. The Columbia-class submarine might be a technological marvel, but getting it from blueprint to battleship has been a massive challenge. The project is expected to cost over $130 billion, and that number could still rise. Why? Because building submarines like this involves more than welding steel. It's about coordinating thousands of parts, suppliers, and highly specialized workers. One of the biggest headaches? The supply chain. The sub requires rare materials and components that must be delivered on tight schedules. If even one part arrives late, a sensor, a propulsion module, a sonar casing, the entire assembly process can stall. And during the past few years, with global shipping delays and factory shutdowns, keeping that timeline intact has been a constant struggle. Then there's the issue of workforce shortages. Shipbuilders need engineers, welders, electricians, and other skilled labor. But those workers aren't easy to find, especially in high numbers. The Navy and shipbuilding companies have been scrambling to train the next generation, even setting up apprenticeship programs and partnerships with schools. As one manager put it, we don't just need people, we need the right people. Lastly, the complexity of the sub itself poses risks. With over 159 technical requirements, the margin for error is razor thin. A single miscalculation in the pressure hull or propulsion design could lead to delays, or worse, setbacks in safety. But despite all that, the U.S. Navy remains committed. They know that once this class is fully operational, it will set the standard for underwater dominance for decades to come. Every great leap in military technology comes with growing pains, and the Columbia class is no different. But while America's new subs are powering forward, its rivals are watching nervously from the sidelines. So how are China and Russia reacting to this game-changing submarine? Stick around, Bam. We're about to enter the global undersea arms race. China's submarine dilemma. While the U.S. gears up for a new era with the Columbia class, China is playing catch-up beneath the waves. Their current frontline subs, the Type 094 Jin class, might look intimidating on paper, but in reality, they're decades behind in stealth, range, and firepower. And that's a serious problem for China's ambitions at sea. The Type 094 submarines carry 12 JL-2 ballistic missiles. But here's the catch. Those missiles have a much shorter range than the U.S. Trident missiles. That means Chinese subs have to sail much closer to enemy coastlines to hit key targets, which makes them easier to detect and riskier to operate. A U.S. Navy analyst summed it up. Their boats need to get too close, and that's where we catch them. Another major issue is noise. Submarines survive by staying silent, and the Jin class is notoriously loud. In fact, it's so noisy that Western sonar systems can pick it up from long distances. That cancels out one of the biggest advantages a nuclear sub is supposed to have: stealth. It's like trying to sneak through the woods while dragging a metal trash can. China is working on a newer version, the Type 096, with promises of better range and reduced noise. It's expected to carry the JL-3 missile, which could match the Trident in range, but it's still in development, and experts say it won't hit the seas before the end of the decade. Meanwhile, the Columbia-class is already underway, and that's a huge head start for the U.S. While China scrambles to fix noise and range issues, they're not the only ones keeping an eye on the deep. Russia's submarine fleet may be older, but it packs a serious punch. So how does Moscow's best undersea tech compare to the Columbia-class? Let's dive into the Arctic waters and find out. Russia's Beret class. Russia's answer to American submarine dominance is the Beret class, also known as Project 955. These subs are newer, quieter, and far more capable than anything Russia fielded during the Cold War. But do they match the Columbia class? The short answer, they're close, but not quite there. Each Beret-class submarine carries 16 Bulava missiles, Upper Series, Russia's version of the Trident. These missiles can carry multiple warheads and reach targets over 5,000 miles away. In terms of raw power, the Beret class is no slouch. It's faster than many older subs and uses newer hull materials for better stealth and speed. One Russian naval officer proudly stated, "The Beret can disappear into the deep. That's its power." But the Columbia class still has the edge in a few key areas. First, electronics and data systems. The U.S. invests heavily in underwater sensing, navigation, and tactical software, giving Columbia-class crews better information and faster response times. It's not just about who shoots first, it's who knows what's happening first. Second, longevity and maintenance. Columbia-class submarines have reactors built to last their entire life. No mid-life refueling needed. Beret-class subs still need periodic overhauls and nuclear refueling, meaning more downtime. That's a big deal in a world where readiness is everything. So while Russia is fielding serious underwater firepower, the U.S. is fielding smarter, longer-lasting vessels. While the U.S., China, and Russia dominate headlines, the undersea game isn't just a three-player race. Nations like the UK and France are building their own next-gen submarines too. But are they keeping up? Let's look at how America's allies and the rest of the world stack up in the submarine arms race. Allies and rivals. Outside the big three, other nations are also investing in powerful submarines. The United Kingdom, for example, currently operates the Vanguard class, armed with US-built Trident D5 missiles. These subs have been on constant patrol since the 1990s, but they're aging fast. That's why the UK is now building the Dreadnought class, a quiet, long-lasting upgrade expected to launch by the early 2030s. The Dreadnought subs will feature many of the same stealth systems used in the Columbia class, thanks to US-UK collaboration. They'll carry Trident missiles, share sonar and tech systems, and continue Britain's continuous at-sea deterrence strategy. One Royal Navy official explained, "As long as there's a dreadnought under the sea, Britain has a seat at the nuclear table." France operates the Triumphant class, solid nuclear-powered ballistic missile subs with advanced sonar and a fully electric propulsion system. But while quieter than older Soviet designs, they still lag behind the Columbia class in automation and missile range. Meanwhile, Germany and Italy are exploring permanent magnet motor technology used in smaller, quieter diesel-electric subs. But those can't launch ballistic missiles. Bottom line, even among allies, the Columbia class stands out for its blend of firepower, silence, and service life. And when it comes to global nuclear deterrence, being the quietest and most capable matters. That's why most experts say the US still leads the pack, and by a wide margin. We've compared the specs, seen the tech, and broken down the global scene. But now it's time to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. With the Columbia class preparing to rule the oceans, how will this shift the balance of power? Let's wrap up with what this all means for the future of global defense. What this means for the world. The launch of the Columbia-class submarine signals a new chapter in military power. One that's quieter, smarter, and far more dangerous for anyone daring to challenge U.S. dominance beneath the waves. With these next-gen vessels, America is not just replacing an old fleet, it's raising the stakes in the global game of deterrence. For allies, this is reassuring. Countries like the UK and Australia see the Columbia class as proof that the US will maintain its military edge well into the 21st century. For rivals like China and Russia, it's a wake-up call, especially for China, whose subs are still struggling with noise and range. As one Pentagon official put it, this isn't just a new submarine, it's a message. Strategically, the Columbia-class keeps the U.S. at the center of the nuclear chessboard. It ensures that no matter how technology evolves or where future conflicts may arise, the U.S. will have the stealth, the reach, and the firepower to stay on top. It's a game of shadows beneath the waves, and the Columbia is the quiet king. In the end, this submarine isn't just a machine, it's a symbol of silent strength. As the oceans get more contested and the future more uncertain, the Columbia-class is a reminder. Peace is kept not just by treaties, but by the things we build to prevent war. And this one, built to disappear, just might keep the world safe by never being seen at all. The Columbia-class isn't just a submarine, it's a signal, a message beneath the waves that says, America is ready for whatever comes next. As China races to quiet its fleet and Russia refines its missiles, the U.S. is already ahead, gliding silently beneath the surface with unmatched precision. This next-gen sub is built to lead, last, and stay invisible. And that's what makes it so powerful. Thanks for watching. And if you want to keep exploring military tech that's changing the game, check out our next video. Until then, stay sharp, stay curious, and stay ready.